Hey Internet, my name is Abby and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program on Wings. Sidrim Kerman is now sitting on the surface of Tylo and he's eager to explore the celestial body, so let's start right away with it. And our first thing is, after the successful and dramatic landing of the last episode, to perform a crew report. Crew report from Tylo's surface. You record the crew's assessment of the situation. 60 science. Okay, let's transmit it. And the next thing is, what is the temperature outside? Currently minus 43 degrees and decreasing. Okay, this is interesting. Let me log this temperature. Collected and recorded temperature data from the environment. Temperature scan from Tylo's surface. 96 science. Wow, this is cool. Okay, keep it. Then we do have our seismic accelerometer toggle display. 0.793 G, so a little bit less than on Kerbal, but still quite strong for a moon. And well, this is pretty cool. Let's log the seismic data. The moon appears to be largely inactive. 240 science. Wow, this is cool. Seismic scan from Tylo's surface. Okay, and the last thing is 7.78 meters per second squared at the gravity, and our gravioli detector is now logging the gravity data. Gravity scan from Tylo's surface. Detailed scans have hinted to hollow spaces in the interior of the planet. 240 science. Wow, this is amazing. This is really amazing. And well, hollow spaces in the interior, so it would be interesting to go caving with your kerbalnauts. Imagine to be able to land on the celestial body and then you find there a hole in the ground and you are able to descend down in this hole and explore a beautiful cave or so. I think this would be really amazing and cool. This would be a great improvement. Okay, now the last experiment we can perform is the SC9001 Science Junior. Let's observe the materials bay. Material studies from Tylo's surface. One of the samples shatters into a fine mist when exposed to the surface of Tylo. 300 science. Wow, this is a huge amount. This is cool. Okay, keep it. So, Sidrim Kerman has performed 2 experiments, has performed 4 experiments and has done his crew report. This is cool, and we have even completed some contract. Explore Tylo. You have successfully explored Tylo. Okay, delete and contract parameter complete. Transmit or recover scientific data from the surface of Tylo complete. Well done, good job Sidrim. Now you can extend the ladder, and you can extend the ladder to have access to your experiment so you can retrieve the scientific data. Okay, EVA. Switch on your light. Now climb down and we can prepare our camera to see the first kerbalnaut setting foot on the surface of Tylo, and Sidrim was successful. Sidrim is now the first kerbalnaut who is walking on the surface of Tylo, and he seems to be quite happy. He is smiling. This is great, this is great. Sidrim is happy. Ooh, and he's running against the engine. No, he just came to a stop. This is good. Okay, and our usual first experiment is a jump test. Okay, it's like jumping on the surface of Kerbal. This is cool. Now let me test the EVA jetpack. Yes, as expected, we are not able to use our EVA jetpack. Okay. Now, Sidrim, what are you thinking about the surface of Tylo? EVA report. EVA report from Tylo's surface. The gravity here is pretty comfortable and reminds you of home. However, the lack of atmosphere is a stark contrast. Okay, here I noticed this. The lack of the atmosphere during my landing, because the landing was really dramatic. And okay, 96 science for this EVA report. This is cool. And what about the surface? Surface sample from Tylo's surface. The ground gives way easily, but the surface underneath is much harder. 360 science for a surface sample. This is cool. Okay, keep it. And now I think we need to move a little bit further away from our... Yeah, I think this would be a good picture. Now, plant the flag. Plant the flag on the surface of Tylo. Ka-ching. Ka-ching. Well done, well done. Okay. First landing on Tylo. Performed by Sidrim Kerman. Okay, well done. Sidrim Kerman. Okay. And Tylo. Yes. Well done, well done. Good job. Now, Sidrim, please smile into the camera. We need to have a good picture. Here, this is a dramatic view. This is a great thumbnail for YouTube. This is cool. Okay. Sidrim is now on the surface, and he seems to be happy that he reached the surface of the largest Julian moons. And, well, this is cool. This is cool. He's even able to run across the surface. And now, his next task is to climb up the ladder to retrieve the data from the Science Junior and collect data. Yes, remove data. Okay, material study from Tylo surface edit. Well done. Now, let's let go and let's start to climb back up to your main capsule, because there are some more experiments and he needs to retrieve all the data from the thermometer and from the accelerometer and from the gravity detector. Okay, we now do have 6 signs. Let's store these 6 experiments. Okay, well done, well done. And now Sidrim needs to inspect his lander before he is able to think and prepare their takeoff, because, well, at some point he needs to leave the surface of Tylo again, and so he needs to prepare this. And when we are looking around, then we are in a huge plain, so not really a huge mountain around us, not really a crater rim around us, so this is interesting. There is nothing much to see around us. It would be interesting maybe to have a rover down here, because due to the stronger gravity it should be quite useful to have a rover down here, because, well, on the moon it's pretty hard to drive around with a rover because the gravity is so low, but down here it should be working quite nicely. Okay, now let's have a look at the orbital map. We landed in this flat area, and yes, it's exactly just a plane. Down there are some craters, and over here is a more mountainous region. I think during our liftoff we will come across this area, and maybe we can have a beautiful view from above across this area, because this looks a little bit more promising. But we landed here, and maybe the most uninteresting part of Tylo, and even down here are more craters, and I think on the far side or on the dark side of Tylo, especially over here, are much larger craters. But nevertheless, the landing area is still interesting, and maybe it was quite useful to land down here, especially with the stronger gravity of Tylo. It's much more useful to land on the plains and not on some kind of slope or so. Okay, now let's talk about the liftoff, because we do not have a fuel line between the core or the central core and the outer engines. We will only use the 2 outer engines first, and once they run out of fuel we will ignite the central engine to continue our ascent. Then we will discard the outer engines, and by doing so we will also discard the experiments. Then we will continue our burn, and we will use the central core until we are about to achieve an orbit, and at this point we will discard the central core to only use the upper part or the upper stage of our lander to finalize our orbit insertion. Then we will hopefully be able to rendezvous with our driving section to finally leave the sphere of influence of Tylo and to be ready to fly back home at some point. Okay, this is the main idea, and now let me board in. And speaking about the takeoff, I think it should be pretty straightforward, because we do not have any atmosphere here, so we should be able to perform the gravity turn almost right away after we started from the surface. But I think I will still keep a more or less steep angle, because I like also to gain a little bit more of altitude, because I'm not quite sure about the upcoming terrain. We are flying across this area, and I'm not quite sure how high these mountains are. In this case, I think it would be quite useful to climb up and to gain a little bit of altitude. Okay, after these thoughts about the takeoff procedure, we can now retract our ladders at first. And now we need to think about... Let me get the nav ball out. The Kerbal departure stage is over here. I'm not quite sure. Maybe I should wait until it's maybe around here, so that it's not so far away from us once we reach an orbit, so we do not need to do so many correction burns in order to have a rendezvous with it. In this case, let me at first set it as a target, and let me do a quick time warp to get the thing closer to us. And I think now is a good position. Maybe it will be a little bit ahead of us. Okay, Sidrim Kerman. Retract your solar panels. We have also completed an X-School. Plant flag on Tylo. Our trackers confirm the flag has been planted at Tylo. Nicely done. Okay. Okay, we have performed all the experiments. We have done an EVA. We have done the surface sample. We have done an EVA report. We have gathered all the signs. We have 12 stored data. In this case, we can enable SAS. And because after the takeoff we have no chance to return back to the surface of Tylo, because, well, we do not have enough fuel to do so. And now, let me do the takeoff in 3, 2, 1, and full throttle. Okay, here we go, here we go. We have enough thrust to leave the surface of Tylo, and we are at first going straight up, but I like, as I said, to perform the gravity turn right away. Let me aim for the 60-degree mark at first. And yeah, this is the good thing about Tylo. Well, the gravity is high, but due to the fact that we are not that we do not have to deal with an atmosphere, we can do the gravity turn right away and start speeding up. And so yeah, it is a straightforward takeoff. And this allows us to do the landing on Tylo with this relative small lander compared to the huge lander we needed to land or to lift off again from the surface of Eve. Okay, Sidrim is a little bit scared as he is ascending into space, and we are already about 8.5 kilometers away from our first landing area. So, what is Sidrim seeing? Sidrim is seeing the surface passing by. This is cool. I like these interior views, and I like to see how the surface is passing by. This is always cool. And we have already achieved an altitude of more than 8 kilometers. This is good. So now I can turn a little bit around and aim a little bit more for the 40-degree mark. And currently I think, can we see? Yes, the driving section is just passing by. So we need to insert ourselves into a lower orbit so that we are able to catch up. And now I'm looking down here at the fuel consumption and the amount of fuel. I think I need to be ready to activate the next engine to continue the burn. And we are out. Let's ignite this engine and let's discard the outer engines. Okay, so we lost some weight. Goodbye, engines. And we are now continuing. And now this engine will be used until we have almost achieved an orbit, and I think we will even have a short coast phase, because after we have reached we have raised our apoapsis close to the orbit of the Kerbal departure stage or our travel stage, we will need to coast to the apoapsis and continue there our next burn. So let me do this. Let me aim at the 30-degree mark now, because I mostly like to speed up and slowly raise my apoapsis, and I think because the departure state is quite ahead of us, I will stop at 55 kilometers. The separation isn't really helpful. 54.7 kilometers, this is good enough. Let me set a maneuver node up here. Okay. Are we flying? Let me just have a crew report while in space near Tylo. Okay, no flying at Tylo. Doesn't matter. So, Sidrim has successfully left the surface of Tylo, and we are already more than 100 kilometers away from our landing site, and we have already achieved a velocity of more than 1,300 meters per second. This is cool. This is really cool. Now, at the apoapsis, I like to insert myself into a more or less circular orbit so that we can catch up with our driving section. And we have an orbit now. Let me continue a bit. Oh, over there. We would be pretty close. 12.7 kilometers with a tidal periapsis of 35 kilometers. What happens? 39. 40 kilometers should be high enough. Maybe we can adjust this later on. Okay, the burn will come up in 30 seconds. This is good. Let me aim now for the maneuver node. And we can do the burn now. Okay, now this burn will be continued until we almost have achieved an orbit. Then we need to reduce the space debris problem to discard our central core, and we need to use our upper stage to finalize the orbit insertion burn. And well, we now have a view across this mountainous area I was talking about. And well, this looks quite special, and I think it could be quite interesting to land down here. But on the other hand, then we would have to deal with these steep slopes, and with a strong gravity of Tylo, this could be really dangerous or really an exciting endeavor. Okay, now let me keep an eye on my burn. Okay, I can continue a little bit on before I need to discard the central core. Okay, now. Okay, 940 meters. I hope at this point this thing will still smack against a mountain also. So in this case, let me now discard this engine. Goodbye. And ignite my upper stage. Okay, let's finalize the orbit insertion burn. And okay, like this. Now we do have achieved an orbit. Yes, we are now back in orbit. We are now back in orbit around Tylo with an apoapsis of 62 kilometers and a periapsis of 44 kilometers. And now we need to think about our next upcoming ascending node is around here. So let me just add a maneuver node there, and I need to change a little bit the inclination. Like this. Okay, then what would happen? We are still a little bit behind. So what happened if I slowly reduce a little bit our apoapsis? Then we should be able to catch up a little bit faster to our driving section. Okay, I think this is a good burn. This is a really good burn. Now, let's have a look. What is Sidrim seeing? Sidrim is seeing currently, again, the surface of Tylo passing by. And again, it's like the surface of the moon passing by, because it's just this grayish color. And this is always pretty special and pretty cool. And, well, I pretty much enjoy this. And now Sidrim, only 11 minutes away from his next burn, should start to orientate his spacecraft into the right direction. And now we can speed up a little bit in time to get closer to our maneuver node. Cannot warp faster than 10 times while below 60,000 meters. Okay. I hope we can continue with this rate and we are not getting down to only 5 times or only 1 time or so. Okay, now we are coming across a very huge crater. Oh, down there is our debris. I hope it will impact at some point on Tylo. And yes, we are coming currently across a crater. There's a crater rim. This is interesting. And now we're getting into the darkness of Tylo. And we are only 4 minutes away from our maneuver node. 3 minutes. I hope this marker will disappear because the debris has impacted into Tylo. 2 minutes to go. Okay, now the marker is gone, so I hope this debris has impacted into Tylo and we have no space debris issue. This would be cool. And now let's come here to a stop and let's perform the burn. Let's perform our inclination change and stop. Okay, well done, well done. So inclination is Removed, almost removed. Let me see now. Okay, when I continue the burn over here, or do a burn, what? This is a huge separation. Over here, 4.6 kilometers. This would be good. What is here? 4.1, 2.9, 2.5, 1.8. Whoa, this is really cool. 1.3, 0.9, 0.4, 0.4. Okay, I think 400 meters is the best we can achieve. Unfortunately, it will happen in the darkness. But yes, this is good. This is good. And there seems to be our travel stage. Okay, next burn is coming up in 10 minutes or 9 minutes and 30 seconds. So let us speed up again so that we are hopefully get back into the daylight. And I'm a little bit sorry for that we will have our rendezvous maneuver in the darkness of Tylo. But well, it's a good trajectory and well, rendezvous or a maneuver to bring us down to 400 meters is pretty special, and I'm pretty happy about this, that I can maneuver around that precise, and well, this is just amazing. And now let us continue. Okay, we can't do a faster time warp for this. This is sad, this is sad. And Sidrim is now enjoying this, and now we are back in the daylight, we are now back in the sunlight. This is cool. And only 1 minute. And slowly, slowly, slowly. Okay, let's come to a stop. Only a very gentle burn we have to do now. And let's do the burn. And stop. Okay, well done, well done. So, 300 meters. We do have a separation of 300 meters. Shortly after, we are in the shadow of Tylo. This is sad, this is really sad. But okay, let's speed up. Let's speed up again, so that we are getting closer to our rendezvous and that we are able to dock again to our driving section. Sidrim is enjoying this. He is happy after he managed to do or to perform this dramatic landing on the surface of Tylo, and he explored the surface of Tylo. He took some interesting surface samples and he managed to return back to space. So he has accomplished a lot, and this is just amazing, and I'm really happy and I'm really proud of Sidrim Kerman that we... Oh, and we are coming directly across our landing area. Down there, wait, let me just stop. Down there we landed, and yes, as we can see even from above, this is really a flat area. So maybe it was a good area to land down there, because, well, as I said, due to the high gravity, it could be a little bit more complicated to land on a slope or something like this. So maybe it was a good outcome that we landed down here and not maybe here with these slopes and so on. Okay, we are only 25 kilometers away from our driving section. This is cool. We have a beautiful view over to Duel, and Sidrim Kerman is still enjoying his ride as he is drifting closer to the target, and our relative velocity is also decreasing. This is nice. And I'm also happy about, okay, I can't access now the amount of fuel left in my fuel tank, but I'm also pretty happy about the amount of fuel I used, that I even have some fuel left over. So I did the calculations right. This is cool. This is cool that I did everything right in order to prepare this mission, because at first I did so many calculations as we are coming again across this crater. I did all the calculations in order to prepare this flight to Tylo, and now I'm so proud that everything worked out as planned and as I desired, and this is cool. And we are not able to... Yes, the sun is setting, as we are only 1 kilometer away from our driving stage. This is sad, this is sad. Okay, the sun has set, and we are now drifting towards our driving stage. Let me now even trim a little bit our trajectory so that we are getting much closer to the driving stage. This is cool. Only 730 meters away. And 600 meters, getting closer. Sidrim is enjoying this. What is his view? He's just looking at the Milky Way, okay. While he is monitoring his instruments. We have a beautiful view over to Joule and to one of the other moons. Only 450 meters away, getting closer. I can adjust a little bit more our trajectory. Like this, well done. 300 meters. And I think I will do some station keeping so that we can perform the actual docking in the daylight again. So let me just get closer, and once I am around 100 meters away from the driving section, I will kill all of our relative motion, and I will get over to station keeping mode, and then I will wait for well, for some time that we are getting back into the daylight. Okay, now I should get to a stop. Let me just do this very, very slowly, and okay, now time for some RCS. Like this. Okay, station keeping. Now we can do a short time warp so that we are getting back into the daylight and that we are able to see our docking process. Okay, we are getting really close to our... and we are now back in the daylight. The docking port is unfortunately on the opposite side of the... Let me turn my spacecraft around. On the opposite side of the driving section, so we need at first to fly past it like this. Okay, RCS, and let's start to drift past the departure stage. And it's cool that we are now back in the daylight, and it was successfully station keeping. This was amazing. This was really great. And now I should start to slow down. Okay. Now let's come to a stop again. Like this, well done. And set this as a target. Okay, now we need to... no, the other way around. We need to turn toward the docking port, or in the direction of the docking port. Like this, maybe. And now let's start. And because the spacecraft now has almost no mass, it's pretty easy to steer around and to control with these RPS thrusters. Well, because, well, there is almost no mass, and now these RPS thrusters are really powerful, and this is always pretty entertaining after you have controlled a very heavy spacecraft, and suddenly it's so easy to control the spacecraft. Okay, I even flew a little bit past the docking port. Let me now maybe get closer in a little bit steeper angle. Okay. Let's perform the next correction maneuver. Okay, let's come again to a stop and turn toward the docking port like this. And now we just need to start approaching to the docking port, and we are now well aligned with the docking port. So we are about to finish our exploration of Tylo, and well, this was just amazing. It was great, and with this we have only one celestial body left before we finish to land on all the celestial bodies on the Kerbal system, and well, this is just amazing. This is cool, and well, I'm really excited about this. And then we just need to make sure... okay, and we are grabbed by the docking port. This was cool. Now we are back in space, and we now can at first shut down our small thrusters. Shut down, then we can bring over the last drops of fuel to our driving section. Okay, so I hope this fuel left in the driving section is good enough to bring us down to Lays that we can refuel the thing. But this is a task for a next episode. In this case, we are finished with the Tylo expedition, and we now need to find a way to bring the thing down to Lays. And as I said, this will happen in the next episode. In this case, thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked this, and I hope you will be joining me in the next episode. In this case, until next time, my name is Abby. See you!